Smith, 2.5. And finishing off the roster for the Raleigh Sidewinders, number 10, Ron Frederick, 3.5.
We need the third mic. I'm better being this guy than I am being the...
Right now the teams have their captains on the court. Referees going over just some do's and don'ts, if you will. Looks like Kerry Morgan, number 1, and also Eric Newby, number 9, are the captains for St. Louis. And for the Raleigh Sidewinders, they have Ron Frederick, number 10, and Mark Herndon, number 11. Joining me here today is the whistle. Also accompanied by, from Las Vegas, Nevada, weighing in at 200 pounds.
You're so generous.
I
love it.
That's right. His name, ladies and gentlemen, that's Bob Murray.
Thank you, Gabe. How are you today?
Oh, fantastic, sir. Fantastic. How about yourself?
Outstanding.
How Bob, how is that lunch provided by Panera Bread? And Panera Bread located just across the street from the Yum Center here in Louisville, Kentucky.
It was great. The soup was good. You can't go wrong with it.
Fantastic. I imagine you had bread from
I
Panera.
had bread.
Excellent.
Bread is good.
Bread is good.
Now, the teams are going over their instructions from the referees.
Last-minute plans.
Last-minute plans and strategery.
Strategery, correct. Our two referees located on the court today.
We have Karen Bainfield and Kelly Cow.
Kelly Cow.
What did they say there?
I believe they said rambling. That's what I got.
I heard blah blah.
Blah blah could have been it too.
I got you.
But I believe it was rambling. Players are getting their last-minute gums, chewables, energy drinks, performance-enhancing supplements is what they're getting right now, Bob.
Perfect. As we get ready for the jump, we have number 22 from
St. Louis.
St. Louis. That would be should be Chuck Melton.
And it is.
And then number 21 from Raleigh, we have Scott Hildebrandt.
Looks to me that Chuck's got a little bit of a height advantage here.
Well, we have a 0.5 going against the 2 for the jump.
Oh,
that's just basically just a.
Would that be strategery, Bob?
That would be strategery, yes.
So that after the jump, there was seemed to be no possession. However, referees have awarded the ball since it went out of bounds to number 11 for the Raleigh Sidewinders, Mark Herndon.
And number 15,
Eric Ingram,
the Flea, gains possession of the ball, advances it forward with big help.
Almost uncontested, Bob.
From number 10. He's not 10. Ron Frederick.
Eric Newby, number 9, inbounds to Chuck Melton, number 22. Over to Schamberg, who then gives it to Kerry Morgan. Quick spin, and she's in for the goal, Bob.
A quick point, number 10, Ron Frederick for Raleigh. He also happens to be the treasurer for the United States Quad Rugby Association.
Fantastic. So you can be a player and also a treasurer.
Absolutely. You can hold a position on the board. And I really, you know what, I really encourage everyone to run for a position on the board. Get out there, get your voice heard, be a part of the association and a part of the future of our sport.
Go get those votes.
We all love to just show up and play, but it's so important for us to have an active role in our sport. And if being on a board, having a board position is not your cup of tea, cup of coffee, there's also committees out there that you can be a part of.
Bob, is that open to the general public or only rugby players?
It's open to pretty much anybody that has an interest in the sport. Now, your board positions are elected positions, and elections happen once a year at the annual general meeting, which happens before our national tournament begins. And I would like to actually congratulate our newly elected secretary, Carolyn Bobinger.
Congratulations, Carolyn. Fantastic.
And our new first vice president, Nick Long.
So we're going to be seeing a new government, if you will, for those two positions.
For those two positions, yes.
So Raleigh tried to inbound the ball into Ron Frederick. Unfortunately, couldn't handle it. Got pushed out of bounds. Turned it back over to St. Louis, which just scored. Bringing the score to 3-2, St. Louis.
Oh, loose ball, and we have it. It comes back to, he's on him.
Did he call the timeout? No, he did not.
He did not get the timeout.
Quick hands by Eric Newby to get that ball away from Eric Ingram.
Very true.
Unfortunately, Chuck Milton met the bad end of a front picker.
Well, sometimes it always doesn't go your way.
And he held on to the other player, which, Bob, remind me, that's a foul.
That is a foul. When you make contact with the other player, that is a foul. Legal use of hands, reach, however you want to call it.
I believe it's called a hold.
It's no bueno.
Correcto.
Amigo. And
there's a quick steal.
Number 9,
Eric
Newby advancing the ball forward. He didn't. I'm not going to say he went coast to coast. He might have gone mid-coast to coast.
Maybe Midwest to
Midwest
coast?
to Midwest to the Pacific.
To the Pacific. Well,
I'll go with that.
Okay. No. St. Louis Rugby Rams traveling from right to left on your radio dial. Raleigh Sidewinders going left to right. There's a quick outlet pass to Ron Frederick while Eric Newby is in the box.
That'd be Ron the Bank Frederick, number 10 for the Raleigh Sidewinders.
Secretary. Fantastic. Treasurer.
Oh. Easy, Chuck.
Chuck Melton on his tippy toes at the half-court line. Throws it away.
Chuck doing the one wheel. Ron with the big skyhook pass. Oh,
and it's off the front of Mark Herndon's chair.
That's unfortunate. Coach Sue Tucker for St. Louis. Throwing out some words to her players.
Chuck Melton advancing the ball down the court, met by Mark Herndon. Oh, there's a great pick by Kerry Morgan, number 1 for St. Louis, allowing Chuck Melton to score. Kerry Morgan feverishly pushing down the court, trying to impede Eric Ingram. However, he just makes it to the goal line. Brings our score 5-4, St. Louis Rugby Rams. Eric Newby with the quick score. Eric Ingram gets the ball half court.
And we have a turnover.
However, turns it over.
Number to 0.
That's Mr. Schamberg.
Hey, post up.
Who hands off to Eric Newby.
Oh, no.
Now what happened there
wait.
is the ball was passed forward after getting picked off
Yes.
in the backcourt.
Yes, okay.
It was passed forward to Chuck Melton, who overextended a little bit, got himself up on his wheel, and went forward onto the bank.
Now
Ron Frederick.
He had his head on the player. How do you hold with your head, Bob?
Well, it's any part of good question.
Okay.
Any part of your body that touches another player's body would be considered a hold.
I see. Oh, and there's a quick inbound.
Any body-to-body contact.
Inbound and turned over.
And just like that, they get the ball back
Chuck Melton
with the score, which is now 7-4 St. Louis.
Chuck Melton makes
over Raleigh.
up for that hold. St. Louis Rugby Rams bench getting real
And
loud.
the big hands of Chuck Melton.
Moving it down court, looking for space.
Looks like Chuck got a little bit of a shiner off that little bump and run with
A little bit, yeah,
with the bank.
looks a little red. There's one thing you don't want to do, Bob, and that's try and rob the bank.
Well, when you try and rob the bank, there's a problem. Uh-oh.
It looks like the bank
The bank just went flat.
just lost a little air. I guess you could say some money came out of the safe there.
Little bit. Little bit. But that was brought to you by Mike Schamberg. Mike Schamberg with the hit.
Robbing the bank, Mike Schamberg's doing over there.
That's it, Chuck. That's right, Chucky. There we go, baby.
St. Louis bench getting round up.
And we're back to action. Number 11 for Raleigh with the inbound. That's Mark Herndon. It is intercepted by Eric Newby for the score.
Our score is 9-4, St. Louis. Oh no, and Raleigh goes out of bounds from the inbounds.
Oh!
Quick turnover.
Kerry Morgan now from St. Louis with the inbound to Eric Newby, number 9, who's going to trail Chuck Melton a little bit, goes past him, trying to set up a play where they can get a little bit of light into that key.
And that's what they got, Bob. Little
That's
light.
what happened.
Newby, easy pass over to Chuck Melton for the score. 10-4, St. Louis Rams.
10-4 over there, good buddy.
Roger. Ron Frederick in a little bit of trouble.
Now Chuck Melton is just everywhere today, it looks like.
He's got great
Playing.
defense.
Look what I found.
That was a perfect pass to Eric Newby. Unfortunately, Eric is on the other team.
I'm not quite sure he meant to do that.
But a great pass nonetheless.
Nonetheless, great pass.
There's a quick inbound to Ron the Bank. Frederick gets it across half court, meets Eric Newby. Oh, inadvertent pass, I believe, to
number 11.
That's Mark Herndon.
Herndon. Kerry Morgan advances the ball forward to Newby. Newby to Schamberg. Schamberg with the score, which is now 12-4 St. Louis.
You know, I think Newby could have put that ball down in his lap and pushed out of it, but he looked for the easy score to Schamberg.
I think what they're trying to do is they want to get the score up a little bit so that they can possibly try to work up lines in there.
Oh, there's an equipment call.
Just getting some clarification between the referees and the table.
Eric Ingram called an equipment on the court. Ladies and gentlemen, operating our camera today on the ground is the Beard.
The Beard it is.
We've got our support staff coming out for the Raleigh Sidewinders. Lori Frederick. And I believe that's Julie Herndon. Could also be Anne Marie Smith. Not only is Ron the Bank Frederick a player, he's also part equipment man too.
Well, he's a player coach.
Ron the Bank Frederick is an all-around guy.
So we're under a bench timeout for Raleigh. And what are the times on a bench timeout and a regular timeout?
A bench timeout, I believe, Bob. You get 1 minute of time.
Gotcha.
An on-the-court timeout is 30 seconds.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
So you're in essence going over strategy a little bit longer, giving your players a rest. You know, if they look a little tired, and not to say that Raleigh is looking tired, but they're playing Ironman rugby right now. They've got about 4 players that they're counting on, and you're probably going to see those same 4 throughout the entire game.
Yeah, St. Louis is, they're pretty deep on the bench right now.
St. Louis doing a great job right now. Score is 12-4.
Yeah, I think Chuck got a nice shiner right there. When he came down, I think the initial contact was with Ron, but then he may have hit part of the chair, maybe the tire, maybe the bottom of the chair. Not sure.
I believe you're right, Bob. I can see that. It looks like his right eye is one starting to get a little black and blue, two swollen.
Might need a cut man. Might need to get Mick.
Might need to get Mick in here. Give him the old cut me, Mick. But he should be careful of that. He doesn't want to turn that into a bigger injury than it is. Chuck Melton takes the inbound, advancing up court. Bobbing and weaving through traffic. Gets that pass up to Eric Newby for the score.
Ron Frederick with the ball, advancing it forward, coming past. Oh,
and Eric Newby to meet him at just past half court.
I'm going to say it's going to take more than that to stop the bank.
Ron getting a pick from number 21, Scott Hildebrandt.
Chuck Melton with the ball. Eric Newby picks it up. And with the score. 14-5.
We got about a minute 5 on the clock right now in the first quarter, Bob.
Minute 5 left. Eric, the Flea Ingram, trying for the timeout, gets the timeout call.
Gary's defense, she turned him in the backcourt, is what you want to do. Get them to not face their teammates, and makes him call the timeout.
The biggest thing, and I'm a true believer in this, you turn them twice and make them pass.
Believe, Bob, believe, because it's true.
If you can turn them twice and make them pass, you're going to get a turnover. You're going to get a stoppage of play.
12 seconds,
You're going
baby.
to get that needed time to get the ball.
St. Louis sitting in their key defense right now.
Looks like a 2-in, 2-out. Meaning 2 players in covering the corners, then you have 2 players on the outside.
In what, Bob? What are they in?
They're chasers.
But I mean, are they in the key? Is that what?
No, they are outside of the key.
Out of the key. Gotcha.
And we have a score by Ron the Bank Frederick.
The Bank.
Bringing it 6-14. Chuck Melton with the ball now from the inbound from number 10.
He's going Midwest to Pacific again.
Third quarter.
And there's quick hands by Eric Newby again.
Goodness.
He just picks that ball right off
Just
of
took it right out of his lap.
Eric Ingram's lap. That's almost unfair.
Now that pass right there
Interesting.
is a patent Flea Ingram pass. He's very good at that pass.
He basically bounced the ball over the entire defense.
And he can do it anywhere. He can put that in your lap anywhere.
That's amazing. There's an outlet pass to Ron the Bank Frederick.
Number 10 for Raleigh.
Larry Porter with the inbound.
To Eric Newby. With the countdown. Big pass to Kerry Morgan.
Oh,
so close.
No
so
score.
Very close, but no cigar.
No score. That was a great run by Eric Newby all the way down, trying to get that pass, that last second pass. Just unfortunately not enough time on the clock for him. They would have had it.
Very true, very true. While we're at the quarter break, the score is 16-7, St. Louis over Raleigh. We'd like to acknowledge our sponsors. They are Fusion Medical, Melrose USA, Kiwi Concepts, Vesco Metalcraft, Eagle Sports Chairs, Excalibur, Astrotech, and Coloplast.
When you want it to last, go with Coloplast.
We truly appreciate your sponsorship, and we can't say it enough. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you to all the sponsors. Thank you to the volunteers here at the table. It's just an excellent time here in Louisville, Kentucky at the 2012 United States Quad Rugby Association National Championship Tournament. We are watching the Division II teams of the number 1 rated St. Louis Rugby Rams and the number 3 ranked Raleigh Sidewinders.
We also have an auction going on for the 2012
I forgot about that auction. I'm glad
U.S.
you're here to
National
remind me.
Auction. We have 2 sets of Spinergy wheels, both with current bids of $300. An Eagle Sports Chair Quad Rugby Wheelchair, Quad Rugby Chair at $580. Melrose Quad Rugby Chair, $3,050. Vesco Metalcraft Quad Rugby Chair, $1,125. And a chair from Excalibur, current bid price, $1,775.
Get on, make a bid, get a chair. I mean, that is cheap.
This is the perfect time for...
Oh,
Perfect time for you to get a chair if you're interested in purchasing a chair. Go on to quadrugby.com. You can see the current and updated prices, bids. But now back to the action. Eric Newby with the ball, number 9 for St. Louis. Working with number 11, Glenn Bell, getting the score. Glenn has a good look. He's got that pirate look going on. He has the beard. I'm gonna start wearing a bandana, I think.
I think so. It looks to be the in thing right now. Looks like Raleigh also substituted in
Eric Newby
number
is
14, Terrence Smith.
a terror. a terror on the hardwood.
He is. You know, Bob, again, that goes back to conditioning, practice, athleticism. I mean, these rugby players, I would bet to say, are some of the best athletes in the world. Oh, and Eric Newby, so strong, happens just to push himself over in his chair.
And that does happen.
However, Chuck Melton is able to pick up the loose ball, advance it for a score.
That does happen from time to time.
But, you know, going back to Newby, I believe he is in training to be a Paralympian for the United States Quad Rugby Association.
Yes. Yes, he is.
So just goes to show you that, you know, all that training can pay off.
You know, on the court right now, you have representation from the national team side. Chuck Melton, Kerry Morgan, Clayton Braun, and from Team Force.
That's correct. And Team Force is the developmental team.
The developmental program
For the United States Paralympic team, rugby team, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
National team.
National. You could also say international competitive. Maybe.
Yes, you could.
Okay, wanted to make sure. We've got substitutions in. Number 1, Kerry Morgan's coming in for number 22.
You know, and from that program, you have
Chuck Melton.
You have Kerry Morgan. You have Clayton Braun. You have Eric Ingram.
Chuck, how's your eye?
You have coaches, Sue Tucker. You know, all the way down the line.
I believe Chuck Melton has called in the cut man, Mick. Back to the game now. Eric
That
Newby
was a great pass by Kerry to Eric to Glenn.
at half court. Just before going over and back, he's able to get it to Glenn. A backwards pass by Newby, if you will.
Eric into number 11, Mark Herndon.
That's accepted by Terrence Smith, number 14, looking for some help. Unfortunately, throws it away.
Oh,
and that ball is off of St. Louis's Eric Newby. That would be Raleigh Sidewinder's ball.
that was a good play by number 11, Mark Herndon. Flipped the ball into Newby, kicking it out.
You know, a quick note about Mark Herndon. Kudos to him. Mark used to not be in such great shape. Got onto a bike, pushed all around Raleigh, and I believe he's lost in essence of 25 plus pounds, Bob.
Is that right?
So along with the rugby pushing, he's also doing hand cycling to get that weight down.
A little bit of cross training there.
Yeah, just trying to stay active.
Glenn Bell with the ball, number 11 for
He's
St.
moving with
Louis.
a purpose. Outlet
Passes
pass
forward.
to Eric Newby.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
Eric
can't
Newby.
handle it. Mark Herndon now advancing the ball.
Passes
Advances
it
to
forward
14. Terrence Smith.
for the score. Glenn with the ball, looking for the outlet. Morgan presses it forward. Oh, just right over her hands.
Just over her fingertips.
Oh,
Just outreach. And she had about another 2 inches in fingers. Should have got that ball. Raleigh's Eric Ingram inbounds to number 14, Terrence Smith.
gets it forward to Eric the Flea Ingram for the score.
Got an equipment timeout. Eric Newby seems to have lost a little air.
And I think that was pretty much provided by Eric Ingram.
I believe you're right, Bob. Eric saw the opportunity, and he took it. Number 11. Glenn passes it up to Eric Newby, who just can't handle it. It's a little bit out of his reach. That's a turnover, Bob.
That is a turnover, Bob. Right. I'm Bob.
No, you're Bob.
I'm Bob.
Right.
You're Gabe. At least you got that straight.
Yeah, okay.
Back to action
here.
Back
to the action.
Number 14, Terrence Smith passes it forward to Eric Ingram for the score.
Able to pick it up and score. It looks like we've got a few substitutions for St. Louis coming in.
We have 3 out of 4 Rugby Rams coming in.
Looks like number 10, Larry Porter, about to check in, along with Chuck Melton, number 22, and also Mike Schamberg, the big zero.
Ingram passes into Hernan. Hernan bobs and weaves. Gets across half court.
Got real close to the sideline.
Ingram. And no, is denied.
No. Need a little help.
Oh, player down.
Player down. Need a little help. Our referee calls
out. My view was
out.
obstructed by number 10.
Number 10, Larry Porter.
No, just the size of it.
Coming out for St. Louis, number 1, Kerry Morgan. And number 11, Glenn Bell, doing a fantastic job out there. We got the St. Louis Rugby Rams leading this game 21-10 against the Raleigh Sidewinders.
Schamberg with the ball.
Schamberg with the ball. Schamberg is at 1.5.
Look up forward. To Larry, number 10, Larry Porter.
Larry Porter.
Back to Newby.
Don't mind the shininess from its head. It's just gargantuan. It's like Sputnik. Oh, there's the ball. Knocked away by
They're
Chuck
trying
Melton.
to pass the ball to us, but they don't understand. We're not playing the game right now.
We're not in the game right now. We should not.
We're not wearing the same jersey as they are.
We should not receive a pass.
At all. Ever.
I don't know what he was thinking.
Ever. Me? Ever.
Well, yeah, you, because, well, you walk. And
I'm not I don't.
You're not class 10.
I'm not good. You're not good.
No, I am not.
We have so much in common.
We do. Number 14, Terrence Smith, looking to pass the ball to the bank. Ron Frederick in easily between that St. Louis key defense.
Eric Newby with the inbound. To Porterhouse. Larry Porter. Ball back to Newby. Bring the ball forward for the score.
23 to 11. St. Louis Rugby Rams.
Oh!
Schamberg with the interception and
almost
a pick 6. But in this case, it would have been a pick 1.
Pick 1.
Hands it over to Newby for the score. Bob, I'm seeing hearts.
You're seeing
hearts. A lot of heart out there.
Lots of parts. Rob the Bank Frederick with the ball, number 10 for the Raleigh Sidewinders.
The Bank goes to the corner.
He's got some moves.
I tell you.
He's got some moves. He's good. Oh, almost got the ball out of Chuck Melton's
Went
hand.
for the swipe, just missed it. Now his hands are on his wheels. Chuck it. It's a great pick from Schamberg. Puts it into the corner. Larry Porter has number 21. Scott Hildebrandt stuck in the backcourt here. Excuse me, in the front court. There's an attempted inbound pass, swiped away, intercepted.
Picked up by Larry Porter for the score.
For the score.
Which is now 25-12, St. Louis over Raleigh. Got a little double team action, possible double team. Melton breaks away. Ron Frederick has the ball, advancing it forward.
He gets caught by Schamberg. Schamberg with that long front end is able to put that picker in front of Ron Frederick.
Terrence
Stop
Smith
him in his
with
tracks.
the ball right now.
Oh, there's a swipe by Eric Newby. Picked up by the Bank, who then miraculously sends it over.
Sheldon Lane picked it up.
Sheldon Lane, who just happens to lose track of it. Eric Newby's got some quick hands, Bob. I mean,
he does have quick hands.
He's one of the biggest swipers in the league. More times than not, he's going to get that ball off your lap if you leave it unprotected.
Kind of like the cheeseburglar.
You know, that's a great comparison. Exactly like the cheeseburglar.
So does that make everybody else like the Fry Guys?
Pretty much.
I may have just dated myself.
A little bit there, but it's okay.
That'd make me maybe grimace. Don't wear a lot of purple, though. No.
For all you young players out there, you might want to Google that. Uh-oh, St. Louis coming in with substitutions. We got...
Are they coming in with the whole line? No, just 3.
Just 3. We've got number 26, Steve Reisenbickler. And I apologize for that because...
Riesenbickler.
Yeah. Number 26. We'll call him Steve. We've also have number 1, Kerry Morgan, about to come back in, and a player who is unfortunately
to be named later. And at times, when we're looking at the players' backs, we can't see the full number because of the straps that help keep us in our chairs.
That's correct. These players don't want to come flying out if they take a massive hit forward. Also keeps their center of gravity and their hips in one place.
Absolutely.
Giving them the ability to maneuver as they do. And we just got a clarification. David Miles, number 4, is going to enter the game for St. Louis. There's a bit of a misprint in our program guide.
That'd be number 4, David Miles, checking into the game soon.
About a minute, 10 seconds left in this quarter, Bob. Oh, it's just off the back of Ron Frederick.
Oh, Larry Porter picks it up. He has an outlet to Chuck Melton. And Chuck is so high. The reach on this guy is tremendous.
I believe it's about a 7-foot wingspan.
It has to be.
Bob. Schamberg in there for a great pick against the Bank, allowing Chuck Melton to score.
Schamberg and Porter have Bank pretty much locked up.
That is a secure Bank.
Right now, yes.
Terrence Smith with the ball. looking for help.
And
Sheldon Lane just misses.
And we have
it.
a turnover. Schamberg picks up the ball.
And he goes over. That looks like that was a spin, Bob.
That's the call. That was the call.
Sheldon Lane happened to put his picker on the back side of Schamberg's chair, causing him to tump over, if you will.
Tump over. I just learned that term, tump over.
Tump over, fantastic.
You just got tumped over.
You were tumped, my friend.
Tumped. That's T-U-M-P.
E-D.
B-U-R.
There's a G-H in the middle, too.
There's a G-H in it?
It's a silent G-H.
Are you kidding me?
Sir,
I spelt it wrong.
You might want to look Wikipedia that one.
Tumped. Tumped over. Chuck Melton with the ball as we go back to the action. Following Schamberg up the right side.
Great pick by Schamberg. Just helping Melton get up the court. Got 14 seconds left on the game clock.
With a score difference of 21 points. 32 to 13, St. Louis.
I think it's safe to say that St. Louis looks to be in good form right now. Getting ready for the crossover game.
And we have another turnover. And that ends the first period of play here in our 12 p.m. game. St. Louis Rugby Rams 32, and your Raleigh Sidewinders 13.
13.
Kevin, can I get down, bud?
Is that halftime?
Makeup so my head doesn't shine.
Oh, whoa!
That's enough of the love on the mic.
Hey, what's up, baby?
Everyone's been blowing their nose.
Yep.
Got some nose blowers.
Who cross over with?
It's not happening in this, not in this lifetime.
Not today.
I don't know if you know this, but we're in the convention center. We're not supposed to eat food. Unless catered. On the table this afternoon, we've got Victoria running the clock and the score. Kelsey down at the other end, working the 40-second shot clock and running our classification. Her name is Elizabeth, making sure that the classifications are all correct. Our timekeeper is from the lovely land of New Zealand. You could also call her a Kiwi if you know her. But if you don't, do not.
And our scorekeeper, our scorebook.
Scorebook keeper standing at 6 foot 8 inches, weighing in at about 20 pounds, Brian. Bob, how's that auction coming that we got going on here?
Our prices are still the same. I think people are waiting for that last minute. They're waiting for that last minute bid.
We probably have professional eBayers at home.
Is there such a thing?
I believe so. You get on the eBay, you're waiting for that last second to click on your computer. Yeah. Depending on your computer speed, you might get that last second bid. Or you may not. Again, depending on your computer speed.
So you have to have quick fingers.
You've got to have a quick click.
I think tomorrow we'll see a lot of movement in the bidding wars.
In the bidding wars, yes, I believe so. Which is good because everything right now is dirt cheap prices. And if you're a young player out there, or even if you're a current player looking for a new chair, I mean, why not? Because you know you're going to spend between $3,000 and $5,000 for a brand new chair, and if you're able to get it for less than that, go right ahead.
But what if you're using a mouse?
How else do you click, Bob?
Both teams are back on the court now.
Getting ready for the beginning of the second half, where the St. Louis Rugby Rams are leading.
And I actually have to apologize. When we went out of the last period, I did say it was the end of the first. That was actually the end of the second period. We are starting the third period, just coming out of halftime right now with the score 32-13. St. Louis over your Raleigh Sidewinders.
Raleigh Sidewinders in the black jerseys, white stripes, traveling from right to left on your radio dial.
And they're basically scoring towards their bench at this point.
I believe they call that scoring at home, Bob.
Scoring at home, you're right.
Not only can you score at home when you're traveling, but also while you're at home. St. Louis Rugby Rams in the gray jerseys with blue piping. Looks like that ball went off number 13, Clayton Braun.
And it will be a turnover. No, not a turnover. They will regain possession.
Correct. David Miles working very hard to stop Eric Ingram. Eric Ingram's got a little faster push.
He's a little push and a half faster.
Don't be fooled by his size.
No.
Because he's always in it for the prize.
Oh, that was very close to being a over and back situation.
However,
Glenn was able to get the ball, pass forward before he was spun a little bit to number 4, David Miles.
Yes, and the heads-up play by David Miles, attacking the ball, going into the corner, almost getting out of bounds, having the sense enough to call timeout before leaving the court.
Very true. David Miles with the ball. Coming around the three-point line, looking for chair position. Allowing
Glenn's
his team
got
to get
that
set
position.
up. Glenn Bell slides right between the bank and number 11, Mark Herndon, for the score.
Well, there's a tipped ball.
Almost picked off by number 26.
Steve.
Riesenbichler.
That's why we're going with Steve.
The ball inbounded by Clayton Braun to Glenn Bell. Glenn working, following Clayton, breaks away, comes up the right side.
Just at the 12-second count. I mean, they just got that across, Bob.
They did.
David Miles trying to get past Eric Ingram, but is met by the bank. The bank's got him locked down. Oh, and there's a jump ball by the bank. They got about 8 seconds on the shot clock, Bob. They got to score this quick.
They got to get in. They have to quick it. Scored quick. Oh. Now, what just happened right there is you have 10 seconds in the key, is what the call was. Now, in basketball, you have a 3 seconds in the lane call.
Thank you.
In wheelchair rugby, we have 10 seconds. You're allowed 10 seconds in the key if you're scoring.
If you're on the offense.
Right. You're allowed 10 seconds.
So there was a turnover. Black had the ball. Turned it over to St. Louis. Now St. Louis has the ball. Number 4, David Miles, getting ready to inbound. And it looks like we've got leaving the court illegally by number 11, Mark Herndon. Wow, that's a tough break. He was in the key trying to set up his position, and he just happened to leave the court through the goal line, which you are not allowed to do. Still waiting on the inbounds from number 4, David Miles. Oh, and Eric Ingram just gets a finger on it. However, Glenn Bell is able to pick it up. Eric Ingram, however, all over him and creates a turnover. Ball's off David Miles. Went off the front of Fleece. Excellent play. Eric Ingram attacking the ball. Knew he couldn't get to it. Tried to pass it back into one of his teammates. Unfortunately, it went off Glenn Bell's chair, making it Raleigh Sidewinders ball. Ron the Bank Frederick able to push through all that traffic. Pass the ball up to Eric Ingram for the score, making it St. Louis 33, Raleigh 18. Clayton Braun inbounds to number 4, David Miles for St. Louis. David making his way up court. He's going to look for an outlet pass here to Glenn Bell. Number 11 makes the score for St. Louis.
That's okay.
And for not being able to get the ball across, Raleigh calls a timeout. Looks like we've got another substitution coming in. Looks like St. Louis is bringing in a whole new line. Number 9,
Swapping
Eric
out the
Newby.
lines.
Number 22, Chuck Melton. Number 21, Kevin Geike. And also number 3, Benjamin Anderson. Benjamin and Kevin are making their first appearance in this game. I feel, Bob, that with a comfortable lead of 34-18, St. Louis has time to get some of those players in that maybe don't get enough playing time or maybe need a little bit more extra work on the court. This might be the time to play them.
I agree. It's always good to be able to get to this point in the game where you can bring your players on, give them that needed PT time so that they can not only get the experience of playing in nationals, but if they're needed to be called in to replace somebody, they're getting those butterflies that the questions that they may have, they're getting them answered right now.
That's right. They have a chance to work on what they practice.
And building that confidence so when they go in, they don't have to worry about anything except playing, knowing that they are in the right position and making the right decisions.
Right. Looks like Raleigh has retreated into the key, playing a key defense against St. Louis. Might be a little bit of an advantage for Raleigh at this point. But we'll see with Eric Newby handling the ball. Chuck Melton is able to sneak in behind the bank. Rod Frederick make the score. Inbound by Mark Ingram to the bank. Ron making his way down the court, able to get past Eric Newby. Chuck Melton is in hot pursuit. He's able to catch up with him. However, the bank pushes to the cone. Opens up the vault and scores.
I like it.
Just getting the ball across half court is number 2, Chuck Melton. To number 9, Eric Newby for St. Louis. Back over to Chuck Melton. About 20 seconds on the shot clock.
Eric Newby looking for the corner.
Oh, and he gets a pass.
Over to Ben Anderson.
Ben has to call a timeout because he gets locked down by Mark Herndon and also, that's right, you guessed it, the bank, Ron Frederick.
You know, I've known Ben Anderson for almost 10 years.
Get out. 10 years, Bob.
When I first came into the sport.
Excuse me, almost.
Almost.
10 years.
When I came into the sport, Ben was in Las Vegas, and that's where we met.
Las Vegas.
Yes.
He left Las Vegas.
For work. He left Las Vegas, moved to, I believe, don't quote me, I believe he went to Reno, played with Reno for a little while.
Okay.
I believe he played in Pittsburgh, and now in St. Louis.
Seasoned veteran, you could say.
You could say, yes. Well, you just did say.
I did. I did say that.
So I'm agreeing, yes.
Yeah.
And we have a 40-second. Oh, scratch that. Put 1 second on that shot
We're
clock.
putting 1 second on that shot clock. We're going for last second goal right here, Bob. That means offensive team is trying to get into position, into the key to grab that pass and hopefully try and score. Eric Newby's got great position. Pass into Chuck Melton. Oh, and they... Excellent pass. However, he was locked down by both Mark and Ron. Raleigh ball in the corner. Oh, and that's a...
Tip ball.
Oh, no. Number 11, Mark Herndon, is called for a legal violation.
What that means is that when you are inbounding the ball, you have to come in a certain way. You have to enter the court a certain way. You cannot
take an angle, Bob?
You cannot take an angle.
You have to go straight on.
Straight on.
Now, 2 wheels on, 4 wheels on. When do you turn? When are you able to turn? What if there's someone right in front of you? You have to get your chair position onto the court.
Chair position on the court before you can make a turn.
I gotcha.
Now, if you're not allowed on the court, that's a meter violation on the other team.
So the offensive inbounder gets 1 meter from sideline into the court.
Yes.
That way they can get on.
Exactly. I just had a celebrity come into the building. Brian Kirkland.
Brian Kirkland, 2008 Beijing Paralympic gold medalist.
Yes. And Brian is actually here. Brian did retire from our sport. He is here. Brian pushed in the Louisville Marathon this morning.
Get up.
Yeah.
He did he do the full marathon? 26.2 miles?
I am going to say yes.
It's amazing. There's a lead pass to Mark Herndon from the bank for the score, bringing us to 37, St. Louis 21, Raleigh.
Loose ball picked up by the flea, Eric Ingram. Trying to get some action going here. And scores, yes.
That's a quick turnover and score. 22-37, St. Louis Rugby Rams. Chuck Melton able to make his way up court. Pass to number 23, Ben Anderson. Then turns out, passes it back to Chuck Melton, who backs it in for the score.
That was a good pass by Ben over everybody to Chuck.
Absolutely.
Mark Herndon now with the inbound.
There's a great pass by Mark Herndon. Ron the bank getting stopped just at half court, almost going back court.
But makes a great behind the no-look Magic Johnson pass to Mark Herndon, who inevitably gets the score. Mark has a great tattoo. Look at that.
Yeah.
A full sleeve.
Full sleeve. You know, it's amazing it doesn't rub off with the amount of touches he gets on that wheel. Looks like St. Louis is getting ready for another substitution here. As well as Raleigh.
Eric Newby with the ball.
Oh, that's fantastic play by Flea and Mark.
Shoulder pass to Chuck Melton. Up, but 4 in the key.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That's a penalty goal for St. Louis.
Yes, it is. Good pass by Herndon into the bank.
The bank gets turned around. Outlet to Herndon, who then puts it up to the Flea.
Eric Ingram.
For the score. There's about a minute left in this third quarter.
Ball passed forward by Newby off the chair of Mark Herndon back to the Raleigh side of the court. Picked up by the bank and scored. We have a score of 25-39, St. Louis over Raleigh.
Raleigh's doing some good things right now.
They are, and it's part of the game where this happens. You can be down. You could be down 23 points, but then in just a snap of the fingers,
blink of an eye,
a bat of the eyelash,
the
flap of a wing,
hair of your chin,
chinny chin chin. The score can change, and you can get wind in your sails and start chipping away to get that score back.
You get right back in, and it's a whole new ball game. Unfortunately, you know, it's still a 14-point game right now, but still Raleigh's doing some good things, making player changes when needed. And
I'd have to say they're still in this game.
They still have a chance, absolutely. With only a few seconds left in this quarter. Looks like number 2 for the St. Louis Rams, Daniel Mellithan, has checked in. Daniel is a 3.0 for St. Louis. Oh, and that ball is knocked away by Raleigh's number 14, Terrence Smith. Knocked all the way back down court. We got 15 seconds left on the shot clock here in the third quarter. Not third. That's not a third quarter. Thord. Yeah, I said thord. Not third.
Thord.
There's another silent GH in there.
Eric Newby comes down, forcibly coming down to crash the key to get that score. And he might.
Oh, we've got a foul and a timeout called at the same time, Mo, but they give him the timeout. as the clock expires. However, let's see what happens.
Which gives them 15 more seconds.
Strategery.
But seeing how there's less than 15 seconds on the game clock, there's no shot clock yet at this point.
So no strategery.
The attempt was there, but I don't think they kind of got what they bargained for.
So now they're in position for last goal. He better hurry. He's only got 10 seconds to inbound that ball, and he just gets it in. And number 2 for St. Louis, Daniel Mellithan is called for 10 seconds in the key. Bob, I believe we saw that earlier. Offensive player cannot be in the key for more than 10 seconds, correct?
You are correct, sir.
However, the ball wasn't...
You are correct, sir.
Thank you very much. However, the ball wasn't thrown inbounds.
The count starts when the official starts their count for the inbound.
I see. Well, at the end of the third quarter, you got the St. Louis Rugby Rams 39, Raleigh Sidewinders 25. We're going into the fourth quarter here. And St. Louis has a comfortable lead, but I don't believe they're going to take a break.
I don't either. I think they're going to leave the same line in, let them work a little more together.
And then they're going to get ready for that crossover game.
Yes.
You need some of that. Time you got?
Josh has one.
Okay, I thought you were on.
No, I don't know. I don't know anything. Yeah, 40. No, 40. There's an extra one there.
We're here at the start of the fourth quarter. Your announcers had to leave. This is Gary Pate stepping in for Bob and for Gabe. They have games coming up. If you've joined us late, we've got St. Louis and Raleigh, with St. Louis up 39-26 with 7 minutes, 50 seconds to go. Eric Newby's got the ball in the key area. He's coming out. He tried to pass. It got flipped. They're scrambling for it in the key. That's the resolution to it. We got a 10-second in the key call on Larry Porter for St. Louis, number 10. He's looking at the ref, but actually think he was in there way longer than 10. The only question is going to be whether the possession continued that whole time or not. The refs are down in the corner discussing it. Yep, they call it a turnover after some lengthy discussion. Not sure about what, and Raleigh is inbounding. Eric Ingram has it. pushing off his pick. A couple of nice picks set, and then he breaks up the middle. Question is whether somebody can get an angle on him and cut him off. And it looks like not. That's another goal for Eric Ingram. He is so fast out there on the court that unless you've got an excellent angle on him, you really don't have much chance of catching up with him. He's probably the fastest player on the court right now. So just in a dead push, dead even race, Eric can probably take anybody out there right now. Eric Newby, number 9 for St. Louis, has the ball, working left, trying to find an open spot. It's into Larry Porter, who needs to get out of that key again, and he just did. Ball's fumbled, but Newby picks it up. Does the behind the back. The behind the back, you can hear the crowd in the background. No go. We had a leaving the court call. No go. No go. Mentioning Eric Newby taking charge of that offense. Newby's been one of the big differences in this team over the last couple of years. When Eric Newby's on his game, when Eric's playing up to his capabilities, he really takes St. Louis to a different level. He is maturing as a player. He's strong. He's fast. He's got an awfully good sense out on the court. And I've had the joy of watching and reffing several games this year, several tournaments this year that Newby was in, and watch him make such a dominant difference in the play and the flow of the game. Newby's got the ball back. Finds an open spot and breaks straight through it. Maybe part of Newby's maturity is his wedding about a year ago. He married a wonderful young lady, Emily, who brings so much into his life, so I'm sure it helps him on the court also. We got a foul against St. Louis. All right, Larry Porter going in the box on a reaching foul. So St. Louis will be down 1 either until a minute passes or until Raleigh scores. St. Louis up 40-27, and both teams are apparently about to change their lineups. Glenn Bell and Clayton Braun about to come in for St. Louis. See who else they're bringing in here. Steve Reisenberger, David Miles. So St. Louis at the first break in the action is actually going to do a complete change of their lineups. They're going to get their starters out. Sue Tucker has a deep bench and does an excellent job of keeping her players fresh, running people in and out. It's now 41-29 St. Louis at the 5:32 mark in the game. And we have subs in on a bench timeout. Got 2 subs for Raleigh. Number 21, Scott Hildebrandt, and number 10, Ron Frederick. Not sure at the slight slowdown in the game there. Some sort of conversation between the ref and the bench. Ref and the table, rather. St. Louis brings the ball up. That's David Miles. David is another one of those players. He's a three-pointer. Maturing as a player, getting faster, getting stronger, getting a lot more playing time. And got a 10-second call against St. Louis, or it's a turnover. Remember that the offensive team cannot have any player in the key, the rectangle, in front of the goal for longer than 10 seconds. On that 10-second count, it turns the ball over. Just like the defense cannot have more than 3 players in that same key area. There's no limit on the length of time that a defensive player can be in the key, but there's a limit on the number of players. Exactly opposite for the offense. No offensive player can be in there for more than 10 seconds, but all 4 of them can be in there. David Miles dumps the ball off to Clayton Braun. Clayton's a low pointer. A lot of low pointers. Really don't see him using much other than his outlet, but Clayton's a little bit of an exception. Does a pretty good job of handling the ball. Clayton's a nickel. Nice score by St. Louis. You may have heard in the background the St. Louis bench counting off the countdown on the shot clock. Even if you're not in the game, there's a lot you can contribute, and that's certainly one of them. Sometimes the players on the court lose a little track of what the time is, how much time is left on that 40-second clock. Nice little breakaway by Raleigh. Ron Frederick's about to score. It's always fun to work a game that Ron is in. Ron actually spent a year as a referee, and he has a unique perspective on the game, I think in part because of that. He's a pretty good floor general. He certainly understands the rules and the flow and the play of the game better than a lot of folks do. And I really do think it's because he spent a year as a ref. Glenn Bell's taking charge of the St. Louis offense. Nice pick by Clayton Braun. That's one of the real strengths that a low pointer, a nickel, can bring to a team is the setting of the picks, creating the holes for the ball handlers to go through, much like a guard or a tackle on a football team creates those holes in the defense. That's the same thing that a low pointer brings to the lineup. If you're new to the game or not all that familiar with it, if you get a good close-up at some point on a low pointer's chair, you'll see they have a different front. And that front is on that chair to give them that opportunity to set some picks. Got a turnover. Raleigh on a good breakaway. Terrence Smith been around the game a while and still knows how to put the ball across the line. Nice push by Terrence. There is such little drop-off in the St. Louis talent. We've had a complete change in their lineup, 4 new players in, and there's just not that much drop-off. That says a lot of what I was mentioning earlier about the depth of the St. Louis team. And sitting on the bench right now in not either one of those lineups, Kerry Morgan, who's participated, been selected on several of the USA national teams, is one of the smartest, if not the smartest, player in the game. And St. Louis sitting right now on an 11-point lead, and Kerry hadn't even been in the game in a while. So we've got a timeout, Raleigh. And a change of lineups. Terrence Smith coming out and Sheldon Lane coming out. Raleigh picked up several players this year, including Eric and Sheldon off of the East Coast Cripplers team, the team in Virginia Beach that did not field a team this year, so those players started looking for a home. They certainly found a good one at Raleigh. There are several other players off of that team that ended up on some other teams. Kevin Crombie's with Indianapolis. And Indy was here in the playoff game, so East Coast had a lot of talent on that squad. David Miles with the ball. You can hear the bench counting it down. It's down to 7. It's down to 6. And we've got a 40-second violation. St. Louis neither took a timeout nor were able to score in the 40 seconds allotted. So that's a 40-second violation resulting in a turnover. We had Mark Herndon passing into Eric Ingram, who's now down the court to Ron Frederick. That's the way you ought to run that sort of offense. Nice, crisp passes, knowing where the player is, knowing where your teammate's located on the floor. A lot of that comes just from getting a lot of playing time and practice time together. St. Louis up 44-34 at the minute 23 mark. Minute 23 left to go in the game. See, obviously St. Louis being a little deliberate, certainly not pushing the ball up the court fast, hard, not trying to score quick goals, making the clock their friend, their ally right now, letting it work against Raleigh. And once again, St. Louis gets the 40-second call. Not necessarily a bad thing for the situation that St. Louis is in. The last 2 times down the court, they've taken a minute and 20 seconds off the clock, with Raleigh not touching it during that time. It's a good, easy way to sit on a lead. Just eat the clock up. Ron Frederick on a good breakaway, and Eric Ingram comes across the court, cuts off the defensive player, giving Glenn Bell no chance to get an angle on Ron Frederick. Glenn's going to inbound the ball now. And if the camera angle caught that, you saw the perfect example. He simply bounced the ball off of Clayton Braun. That gives the touch on court for the offense. And then the offensive player pushes on the court and picks it up as it bounces. So you just bounce it off the back of your own player. In fact, I've even seen people bounce it off the back of the other player. That gives the touch on the floor, which is all you're looking for. That gets the clock started. The first year I was in the league, I saw Bob Lujano of Lakeshore do that several times in some critical moments off the back of a defensive player, and really didn't understand what he was doing until about the 3rd time I saw it. So St. Louis just did that to perfection, using Clayton Braun's back. And St. Louis, in fact, scores there they were running the 40 seconds off, and they scored a split second before the 40 went off. Okay, now the 40-second clock is off. We're under 40 seconds to play. Eric Ingram scores, cutting it to 45-36. St. Louis. Clayton Braun inbounds to David Miles, and that's the game. That's the game. Thank you, Eric Newby. Thank you, Chuck. St. Louis wins 45-36. Nice game. St. Louis is so strong, but Raleigh worked it hard. Raleigh's got nothing to be ashamed of. They basically stayed in their game most of the time. Nice, hard-fought game by both teams. Nicely called game. That's it for this game. St. Louis over Raleigh. And I'm going to turn the mic over.
Judge, I can hear you from the bench. That's the best talking I've ever seen.
I got your text.